Welcome back to Iraqi Dinar. Stop whatever you're doing right now, because what's coming next could completely change everything we've been waiting for. The flow of information reaching us today is unlike anything we've seen before, and it's coming straight from verified ground-level sources inside Iraq. This isn't rumor. This isn't recycled chatter. It's real-time data confirmed by one of the most trusted voices in the entire Dinar community. For years, Frank26 has been tracking Iraq's financial system, diplomatic activity, and every subtle movement that might point to the long-anticipated revaluation. And now, according to his latest intel, we've reached a level that can only be described as historic and powerful. The primary source behind this breaking update is Omar, an insider on the ground in Baghdad, watching events unfold firsthand. His information isn't speculation or social media hype. It's drawn directly from official Iraqi television broadcasts and statements made by government representatives. This isn't some whisper campaign or secret leak. This is a documented communication happening at the top levels of Iraq's financial and political leadership. Frank26 confirmed that this development marks a potential turning point, the kind of move that can shift everything we know about the dinar's trajectory. If what Omar is reporting proves accurate, the global implications are massive. The stage is being set for a financial event that could shake markets worldwide and bring long-awaited validation to dinar holders everywhere, according to Omar's report. Iraq has officially submitted a request for international approval of a brand new exchange rate, one that could redefine the dinar overnight. This is not a rumor or casual conversation. This announcement has aired publicly on Iraqi national television. Officials have openly discussed the new exchange rate proposal, explaining the reasoning behind it and signaling that the nation is fully prepared for a monumental change. When a government publicly tells its people that it's reached the final stage before revaluation, that means confidence, stability, and readiness. It's not just about numbers, it's a declaration that Iraq is stepping back into the world stage as a credible, modern, and stable economy. Omar adds that Iraq's message is being broadcast directly toward the world's key financial powers, the U.S. Treasury, the Bank of England, and the French Ministry of Finance. These are the institutions that hold real influence over global financial systems. Iraq isn't just tinkering with internal policy, it's coordinating with the very institutions that determine legitimacy and global recognition. According to Frank26, this is what he calls the monstrous phase, the moment when speculation turns into reality. Once these international approvals are granted, the path to revaluation becomes clear, and events could unfold much faster than expected, potentially within weeks. Not months. The headline everyone in the dinar world is talking about right now. Iraq has reportedly requested a 1-to-1 exchange rate with the US dollar. Let that sink in for a second. This isn't a small adjustment or a modest revaluation. This is a full-scale leap, the kind of move that redefines financial history. Frank26 calls this the trigger point, the moment that sets off the global reset he's been referencing for years. Once approval comes from the international authorities, the revaluation and the float could begin almost instantly. Imagine waking up to see the dinar recognized globally at parity with the US dollar. It's not just about wealth, it's about economic power and credibility. Returning to Iraq. The psychological impact of such a shift would be enormous. Investors, traders, and dinar holders worldwide would be witnessing a transformation that changes financial dynamics overnight. Frank26's description of this moment as monstrous isn't an exaggeration. It captures both the scale and speed of what might be about to happen. For decades, the dinar community has studied every signal and every whisper. But now, with Omar's first-hand reports and Frank's analysis aligned, we're seeing the clearest picture yet of what could be unfolding. This is no longer theoretical. It's a seismic movement that could reshape expectations for Iraq and for everyone watching the revaluation story unfold. Some people might ask, why does Iraq need approval from the U.S. Treasury or other countries to change its own currency's value? The answer lies in global economics. When a nation wants to establish credibility on the international market, It must align its monetary moves with major financial authorities. Frank26 explains that Iraq's goal isn't just to raise its exchange rate domestically, it's to ensure that when the new rate goes live, it's accepted, recognized, and fully trusted by the global community. Without that coordination, no trader or financial institution would accept the rate internationally. That's why Iraq has been so careful to synchronize every move with the U.S. Treasury and other global bodies, Omar's reports say. Iraqi TV has been openly discussing these developments, showing full transparency. This isn't happening behind closed doors anymore. The Iraqi government wants its citizens and the world to know that it's ready, capable, and serious about this transformation. And that transparency matters. It tells the global financial community that Iraq is no longer an unstable market. It's becoming a reformed, credible player ready for reintegration. This sets the stage for the next step, the float, where the dinar's real market value begins to rise naturally once Iraq receives international approval for the 1:1 exchange rate. The float begins. And this is where the real economic power of Iraq starts to show. The float allows the currency's value to grow organically based on Iraq's true wealth, its oil, gold, exports, and other resources. Frank26 describes this as the launchpad moment, the point where Iraq's economy can finally reflect its real-world strength. For years, policymakers in Baghdad have been building the systems and infrastructure to support this, preparing banks, updating ATMs, and ensuring that communication with citizens is clear and transparent. Frank explains that the 1:1 rate isn't the final destination, it's the foundation. From there, Iraq's currency could climb toward what analysts call the reinstatement value, estimated around $3.22 to $4 per dinar. These numbers aren't random guesses. They're based on long-term economic models comparing Iraq's wealth and reserves to its money supply. It's a realistic and well-supported path. The float ensures that this climb happens in a controlled, stable way, avoiding chaos while building trust across global markets. Meanwhile, Iraq's national media continues to play a crucial role. They're not hiding this process, they're broadcasting it. Citizens are being prepared, banks are being readied, and international observers are taking notice. When a government operates this transparently, it shows confidence. It tells investors that this isn't a reckless gamble. It's a calculated transformation. The communication strategy Iraq is using right now is deliberate. It's about creating calm, order, and credibility before a massive change. Tied to this new exchange rate is the release of Iraq's new lower denomination notes. You can't have a 1:1 rate with 25,000 or 50,000 dinar bills. It wouldn't make sense in daily life. So the new notes -1, 5, 10, 20, 50, and 100 dinars are ready to roll out. Omar reports that these notes are printed, secured, and awaiting distribution. Once approval is granted, banks and ATMs will update systems and citizens will begin using the new currency at the new rate. That will be the visible, tangible start of Iraq's financial reset, the moment when years of preparation finally meet real-world action, according to both Omar and Frank26. The rollout of these new notes is synchronized perfectly with the exchange rate announcement. Every system, from printing facilities to ATM software, has been tested and prepped to ensure a smooth transition. That means when the switch is flipped, Iraq will move from planning to execution in real time. This isn't a theory anymore. It's an operational plan ready to launch. And now, let's talk about the U.S. Treasury's role, because it's a big one. When you hear that the U.S. Treasury is directly involved in Iraq's revaluation process, understand that this is the most critical step. It's not about permission, it's about validation. The U.S. Treasury, along with other central banks, ensures that Iraq's new rate is recognized and compatible with global systems. Over the last several years, Iraq has worked relentlessly to meet every international standard. Its financial system has stabilized under IMF guidelines. Anti-money laundering reforms are complete, and budgets are balanced with transparency. This is the signal that Iraq is not just ready, it's compliant and credible. This isn't a negotiation or a plea for help. It's a formal statement to the world. Iraq has met every prerequisite and now it's ready to move forward. Once the U.S. Treasury and allied institutions give the nod, the path to activation is clear. The dominoes are lined up, and approval will set off the chain reaction we've all been waiting for dinar investors. This is the moment that years of patience have been leading toward. If Iraq is officially requesting a 1-to-1 rate, that means the internal work is done. Budgets, legislation, and monetary policies are all in place. Now it's simply about execution. Frank26 and Omar both emphasize that this is the stage of activation, not speculation. The communication lines between Baghdad and global authorities are open, active, and verified. This is where preparation becomes reality. The float, the real journey to value, is the next crucial piece. Jumping straight to a $3 rate overnight would create chaos, so the float is the safe and sustainable path. It allows Iraq's true economic power to show itself gradually and credibly. Anchoring first at 1-to-1 gives confidence to international investors. From there, the dinar can rise naturally, backed by oil, gold, exports, and rebuilding momentum. This ensures a stable climb and long-term legitimacy. Frank26 has said repeatedly that this stage marks the final domino, the piece that connects all others. The request for the 1-to-1 exchange rate isn't a rumor. It's a declaration that Iraq is ready to launch a new era. The groundwork has been laid carefully over the last decade, every policy, reform, and system calibrated for this moment. Now, as the world watches, Iraq's future could shift in an instant. This isn't speculation anymore. It's strategy unfolding in real time. So what happens next? The final approvals. The U.S. Treasury, along with European authorities, holds the last piece of the puzzle. Once granted, the revaluation process will move from theory to implementation fast. Banks are already prepared, systems are online, and currency is secured. The countdown is no longer months or years. It's hours and days. That's how close we are. For dinar holders, this is the moment to stay alert, stay informed, and stay calm. Frank26 urges everyone to monitor verified sources and avoid emotional reactions. The transition will be historic, but it requires patience, focus, and understanding. Iraq's move toward a 1-to-1 exchange rate represents not just a financial change, but a national transformation. Every broadcast, every insider report, every signal from Baghdad suggests that the long wait may finally be over. The groundwork is finished. The paperwork is in motion. The approvals are pending. The revaluation clock that's been ticking for years is about to strike zero. Iraq is stepping forward and the world is watching. Stay tuned, stay ready, and keep your eyes on official channels, because the reset that's been years in the making could begin at any moment. The final domino is falling. The RV is no longer a question of if, it's a matter of when. And according to Frank26 and Omar's latest reports, that when might be now.